Hello, my name is John Crow, and I represent the Foxtrot Group. Today we're going to talk about our analysis of the Searching Microsoft case study. And in order to do this, we're going to have to time travel to the far off year of 2007. Google had just bought YouTube, Yahoo was the #1 most visited search site in the world, and Bing was just a faraway glimpse in Bill Gates' eye. So, what insights can we get from this time? Well, part of our question and part of what we want to share with you is at this time, Microsoft was looking to expand its search capabilities. And of course, the biggest player in the land was Google. And a lot of our comparisons will be between Google and Microsoft. So our first question would be, just taking account of Google's size, is there a searcher-to-advertiser feedback loop? The short answer is yes. The long answer is there is a strong search-to-advertiser feedback loop at work in this market segment. A critical value driver of the search platform is the robustness of the search engine, and this extends far beyond the question of who has the largest index. The quality and speed of the searches matter as well, and this is achieved by a virtuous feedback loop where the behaviors of the searchers provide additional data to refine future searchers. This information allows the search engine to answer the more profound questions, such as what answers satisfied the search? What inspired the greatest engagement with our site and the service and advertisers? What are common missteps and how can we program around them? If someone searches for this, what are they most likely interested in seeing? The list goes on. Google was clever by charging advertisers at this time in terms of cost per click instead of cost per mile, and by requiring advertisements and the actual banners that the customer saw be made by text instead of images. Text is easier to index, compare, and contrast to help find out what is engaging the customers and what is not. The cost per click builds into this core feedback loop by providing the pricing model which encourages advertisers to become active participants in this feedback loop. Advertisers themselves are analyzing the data as well, and they are providing insight into how to make future searches more effective. In the long term, we are seeing a massive searcher-to-advertiser feedback loop in action. Google, with its massive user base, can justify the cost of more data centers and more agile development, which creates better customer experiences. This, in turn, produces more data to continue to refine the model, which in turn attracts more advertisers, who in turn connect with and delight their customers, who in turn continue to use Google to find what they need. So we talked about a searcher-to-advertiser feedback loop, which begs the question, is there an advertiser-to-advertiser feedback loop? Do advertisers attract other advertisers to a search engine? Our conclusion is yes, with some very important caveats that we're going to discuss right now. The feedback loop is a thing, but it's a delicate thing. It's a balancing act between, because the more advertisers that are on a platform will result in a higher cost per click due to a higher bidding demand. This is reflected by the fact that, as you saw in the case study exhibits, Google had a higher price for comparable searches than the prices of their competitors. But let's dig a little deeper than that. On the surface, that might feel like Google would scare advertisers away because they can't afford the costs, or they can see a better cost per mile or cost per click elsewhere. But there's also a positive feedback and synergetic relationship with advertisers to identify and crowdsource what advertising practices work and wax and wane as consumers become more savvy and aware of advertising and become cynical or avoid it. It also, having more advertisers on a platform also supports a long-tailed strategy where niche advertisers are able to target and only reach those consumers that they really need to reach, and so they actually get a better quality of their clicks. More analytics also help create a better relativities and benchmarks for Google so that advertisers can have more confidence that their investment is going to yield positive returns. And let's just break it down from a very simple perspective. From the advertiser's perspective, Google has demonstrated that they are successful with a wide variety of advertisers, which gives firms confidence in their decision. And as this advertiser base grows, this confidence increases because there's just a lot more to work with and a lot more that Google can offer. So we talked about the powerful network effects that Google enjoyed. So how does this impact the customer's willingness to pay over time, comparing Google versus Microsoft Search? Well, Microsoft and Google deployed similar services of internet search directories that were free for the searchers but earned revenue over time with market share and advertisers. The main differences were found in Google's ability to innovate algorithms, a system in place, and developing ad ranking and AdSense, which gave the advertisers choices of bidding on keyword. Google eventually transitioned their business model by allowing a more fair competition for the most relevant searches, and Google was attentive to their entire ecosystem, which fed into this machine. They had Chrome, Gmail, the Google document suites, and their search directories were very attractive when associated with cost. They helped advertising managers and manage the process of planning, executing, and evaluating online advertising and integrate the value to their customers. Google catered to 400,000 advertisers, while Microsoft and Yahoo served about 175K respectively. Google's ecosystem displayed their dominance and ability to reach different types of advertising networks. Over time, the company would eventually introduce the very complex new services that allowed users to become participants in this network effect, switch sides on this two-sided platform. Therefore, advertisers will have difficulty switching strategies to a less competitive company or less competitive platform that doesn't have this network effect. So all this combines and increases the customer's willingness to pay and their hesitancy to switch platforms. So all these factors we showed today showed Google's advantage over Microsoft, which raises the question, what should Microsoft do? We have 4 scenarios that we want to discuss and explain the costs and benefits and likelihood of the success that we see in some of these. We are cheating a little bit. We are in the distant year of 2020, so we have a better idea of what will happen, but we try to avoid hindsight bias as much as possible. So we're looking at a couple potential moves. First one is, as I said in the case study, Microsoft can acquire Yahoo or another search provider to increase their network, increase their market share, and increase the impact they would have on these network effects that we've spent so much time talking about. This is a risky move because there's increases the risk of antitrust legal challenges, and similar deals have been stopped in the industry before. And even if it was successful, the increase that Microsoft would get by merging with Yahoo is still pretty insufficient in the long term. Acquiring Yahoo would triple Microsoft's market share, but even if they triple, they would still be less than half what Google's market share would be. And at the end of the day, this does not increase the willingness to pay or decrease Microsoft's costs significantly. Another option is Microsoft could embed their search functionality with its 2 largest business segments, Windows operating system and the Microsoft Office suite. With a native search functionality, users are likely to search for assistance in the operating system or the software that they are actively using. This limits the target market that the searches will be made to those users within these programs. But let's be clear: these software have very large install bases, so it's limiting, but it also gives you a very captive audience. Limiting the focus may also allow Microsoft to increase the value it brings to users and advertisers within this niche. Live Labs could be researching exactly what type of search would complement Microsoft products. For example, how can we enhance the search for Excel macros or increase users' productivity and find information that adds value and can be trustworthy. And this could generate a positive network effect for this niche search and ad segments. And it could also yield insight into Microsoft's other business segments, which need to remain profitable as well. Another option is Microsoft go into an all-out price war with Google. We don't see any likelihood of success of this strategy. Google has a higher willingness to pay from advertisers, so a price war would not significantly drive share from Google significantly. And at the end of the day, Google has a lot more to lose. This is their bread and butter, and they can match prices almost immediately and indefinitely until Microsoft be forced to withdraw. Another option is Microsoft could have their live labs research the highest projected growth areas of online marketing. Have this emerging future focus vision so they're ready to pivot when that comes. For example, the projected growth areas of online marketing is an emerging channel with a 10,000% growth rate from 2007 through the date of this recording, and online video marketing grew 14 times from 2007 through 2012. Video creator tools that could be provided by Microsoft could also leverage the already very powerful and very industry standard software that's embedded into the Office Suite functionality, and that could create a large user base that could then pivot into a search function or a video stream function or video marketing function. Likewise, from a server point of view, Microsoft has a good position where they could optimize their servers for streaming and virtualization to better support platforms for video marketing. This is reflected in some of their recent works with open source providers like Red Hat and Ubuntu to extend and make their services much more competitive in their servers much more competitive in the video realm. So at the end of the day, we think there are a few ways forward that Microsoft could have done at this juncture in 2007. We know which way they went, and we can only speculate how some of these potential moves would have reshaped the industry today. But it's fun to speculate, and I really hope that you learned a thing or two about the network effects and some of the potential moves and the benefits. I don't think the window's closed for a few of these, and Microsoft could still position into some of these moves. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.